Do you know your enneagram number or your Myers Briggs type or your personality color? Everyone is into personality tests these days. I'm personally a 3 on the Enneagram, an INTJ on Myers Briggs, and a red on the color system. I love this stuff. But one of the really cool things that you can do is apply these personality types to your email writing in your business. So whether it's for your newsletter, a live launch, or a sales email as part of your Evergreen funnel, learn how to write emails for the Monicas, the Phoebes, the Joeys, and the Rosses of the world that are going to get them to read, connect, and take action. And frankly, if you don't get those friends references, well, I'm not too sure if we could be friends anymore. Today's podcast guest, Tarzan Kay, is breaking down the complete color-coded system for us. This system is truly going to change the way that you write your emails. So stay tuned. You're listening to the Passive Project Podcast, where we talk about how to build your online business to make more income, more impact, and give you more freedom in your life. I'm Gemma Bonham-Carter, business strategist, mom of 2, lover of passive income, automation, and coffee. Welcome to the podcast. What's up, you guys? I'm so excited. We have such a special guest today on the show, Tarzan Kay. Welcome to the Passive Project Podcast.
Hey, Gemma, thanks for having me.
I am so thrilled to have you here. We're both Canadian, which first of all, I'm always like instant excitement about having another Canadian entrepreneur on the show. And we happen to both be wearing like the same bright yellow hue today for this call. So obviously we are on some sort of like wavelength together, but I'm really excited to have you here on the show for a number of reasons. I've been following you on Instagram for a long time and just love everything that you do. I am obsessed with the emails that you send to your list. I am happily a subscriber and open every single one because I just find them so jam-packed of personality. If you guys aren't on Tarzan's list already, you need to go subscribe. We'll give you the details on how to do that at the end of the show. But could you just introduce yourself for folks, who you are, what you do, who you serve, that kind of thing, in case they don't know you already?
Thanks for the shout out about my emails because I'm so proud of the work that I'm doing there. So I'm Tarzan Kay, and for, let's say, I'm in my 5th year of business right now. And for the first couple of years, I was a copywriter for private clients, and I niched down over the years into digital courses, and then niched down even further into writing emails for digital courses. And then there just ended up being so much demand. And I also felt like I wanted to write for myself. I was kind of tired of writing in other people's voices. Mm-hmm. So I transitioned into a different business model. And now I teach about email marketing. And that's my primary source of revenue and where most people come to me to learn. And it's also where I do my best work. Like, I really want people to change the way that they think about email, because what I see is like a lot of people just feel like it's a chore. They feel like people don't want me in their inbox. They feel like I don't have anything interesting to say. My emails are boring. And I want people to shift that and start thinking like, email can be fun. You could be the bright spot in someone's inbox. It could be something that you look forward to every week. Like, I have Mondays, I never have appointments on Mondays. They're always blocked off. And Mondays are when I write emails to my list. And I just it's my favorite day of the week. I get to do my creative writing, and my creative writing is email. So just putting that out there, that it can be a deeply creative and fulfilling outlet, and also make you lots of money.
Two really important things. And the other thing that I love about email is that in today's age where we're so bombarded by everything on social media, a lot of people want to disconnect from social media. A lot of people want to delete that Instagram app off their phone or stop checking Facebook. And an email can be still such a great way to stay in touch with those people in a way that isn't making them feel overwhelmed by like everything else that's going on that same platform at that same time. So it's not that I'm anti-social media, but I think that email really needs to be your number one priority way of connecting with your people.
Yeah, I agree. It's really sort of the central hub where if you're on my email list, you can always look for my emails and figure out exactly what's going on in terms of like what I'm promoting, which day we're in, like what bonuses are available right now for in a promotion. Whereas social media, like it's so great for supporting your launches. I just started doing social media like last year, like toward the end of last year. And it's made a radical difference. So not saying don't do it, but I also did build a high 6-figure business without doing any social media, only email. So it's still, even now, like I'm adding other channels because I have a lot more support, but it is still the engine and the hub of everything. Like email is where people connect to what I'm doing. Like, here's a podcast interview I did. Here's like, you know, a new bonus I'm offering. Like all of that is collected cohesively in email. Whereas if you only looked at my Instagram profile, you'd be like, I think she's promoting something. I'm not quite sure what. Like, I don't have the swipe up feature. You can't just like quickly look. So for that reason, I love email.
Yeah, me too. We're speaking the same language for sure. So what I would love to talk about today is to dive into this color-coded system, this personality-based system that you use to write really compelling emails that hit home for the different personality types out there. And I've heard you speak about this before, and I was so excited to bring you on the show to really talk about this so that my audience could really dive into this sort of mini training from you. So, and especially in today's, like everybody knows what their enneagram number is or what they are on the Myers Briggs scale, or like we're all into understanding our personality types. And so I love that you're taking that concept and applying it to email writing. So can we just dive right on in to talking about this system and what it is?
Yeah, totally. We totally can. Okay, let me just give you a bit of backstory. And before we get into it, you can totally apply this to whatever personality system you already know and love.
Right.
So a couple of years back, I invited my friend Sage Polaris to come and be a guest speaker at a retreat that I was hosting. And during her talk, and this was like a small portion of her talk, she talked about this for maybe like 10 minutes, but it blew my mind. And I've been researching it and talking about it for years ever since. So she did this training and she was like, the colors, you have to write for these 4 colors. And she was like, I don't know what she wasn't even that sure what the 4 colors were, but she walked me through, the 4 colors and how they related to sales pages, and how there's like these 4 personality types, and you want to make sure that you answer all of them and you have what they're looking for on your sales page. And I was like, oh my God, this is revolutionary. I need to teach about this because it works with email too. And then fast forward like another year or two, I was speaking at ConvertKit's annual event, Craft and Commerce, and I did a workshop on the 4 colors. And someone came up to me after and she was like, the system is DISC. I also use this method for writing Facebook ads. Amazing. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing, because I wanted to do more research and develop it more, but I was like, I don't know, I'm fumbling in the dark looking at, if you look at like colors-based personality systems, there's so many. And sometimes like it could be like the same personality traits, but the colors are different. Anyway, all this to say, the system that I use is called DISC. And
DISC?
DISC, yeah. And some people think about, and so D is red, I is yellow, S is, these are the ones I mix up a lot. S is blue, and C is green.
Okay.
So I have all of this really well detailed on my website. I realized after years of teaching it that I had mixed up the blue and the green. So now my head has to like, it doesn't matter what you call them. It doesn't matter because the personalities stand. So we'll start with the red, because many entrepreneurs really resonate with the red. A lot of entrepreneurs have a high red streak. Are you red, Gemma?
I'm a full red.
Yeah, I'm super high red, and the qualities of red, like very strong leadership, real like fast decision makers, want everything done and they want it yesterday. Like lots of characteristics that sort of drive people to be an entrepreneur. What's important about that is I think a lot of us reds, of any color, we sort of always assume like everybody is like us.
Exactly.
And everybody is not like us. So like a red like me who's like really impatient and like I don't read that many emails, partly because email is, I want to stay innovative and I don't want to get distracted by what other people are doing. But also, let's be real, my red makes me like really impatient for so many things. Like if you didn't nail the first line, I'm not reading your email. And that's very red. Like red is like, just tell me. So if you're thinking about writing an email for the reds, they want to know, like they want you to be concise. They want to know exactly what the email is about and they want to know it right away. So you always want to make sure you are catering to the reds by doing emails that are maybe, and not all emails appeal to all colors, and that's okay because most people do not read all your emails. You're the exception, Gemma, reading all my emails.
And that's actually a really good point for those who are listening, who are thinking about creating their first funnel.
Yes.
Is that like you can have inside of a funnel, you can have emails that speak to each personality type within that funnel. Not each email in the funnel needs to speak to all 4 types.
Yeah. Okay. And another common red thing, because reds, we also tend to be like pretty like efficient. So we also, a red might also think like, why do I have to send so many emails? Like I'm going to annoy people. Like just send them one with everything so they can just be done with it.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, but that is not the case. We need to keep asking people. And I'll tell you why, especially when we get to the yellows. So for the reds, like you can do like a PS at the bottom that sums up your whole email in one line if it's a longer email. The reds will hate it if you have like a misleading, well, everyone hates it when you have a misleading subject line, but the reds and the blues hate it even more than usual. And I'll tell you why when we get to the blues. So a concise subject line, it doesn't mean it can't be, it doesn't mean it has to be like bonus ending today. Like that's very boring. Nobody likes that. But just don't be misleading. So for the reds, make it efficient, give them a link that goes straight to the sales page, or better yet, just like send me straight to the checkout page. I already decided a month ago, I know I want this. I'm just getting it. The reds are like, if they want your thing, like they already know it and they're just going to go get it. They're just going to make it happen. Yeah. So in some cases they're like the easiest sale. And in other cases they're the hardest sale, because if they're a no, they're like, no, not even looking at this.
Really hard to change their mind.
Hard to change their mind. Yeah. Stubborn. That's like one of my less attractive qualities. Stubbornness. Stubbornness, and also like thinking I know it all already. Like I already heard everything about your product, like never mind.
Right.
So it can be easy, it can be hard.
And in the Friends analogy, because I've heard you connect this to all the Friends characters, this would be the Monica.
Yeah, this is super Monica, like very decisive, likes things a certain way. Also, in the Game of Thrones analogy, this would be Daenerys, like very decisive, just like you're toast, Dracarys, dead. Okay.
See, this is where like you lose me, because I have never.
That's
watched
okay, because some of your listeners will. Yeah,
absolutely. And some listeners who enjoy really trashy reality TV like me will connect that this is like the Bethany from Real Housewives of New York City. Like there you Bethany would for sure be
there. You go. Yeah. So at the end, we'll give you the link to a blog post on my website, which has lots more examples of like celebrity or fictional characters who are of the different colors. So that's the reds. Let's talk about the yellows. Yeah. So I myself am like very high red, and my second trait is high yellow, which is actually a pretty common combination. The yellows are, they're super social. They're like the life of the party. They're loud. They like a joke. They like to have fun. They're like often late to the party, but nobody, like we all forgive them because we all really want them to come because they make things interesting. So with the yellows, when you're thinking about email, the yellows want your emails to be fun. They want to be entertained. They need the same information that everyone else does. But as an example, like if you can add like a funny GIF, add like a really good story that's entertaining, that's going to be really appealing to the yellows. So I don't think the yellows are all about like, it has to be short or it has to be long. It's just like, it has to be entertained. If you can entertain me, I'm going to read your emails all day long.
Right. Okay. I love that. And so in the Friends reference, The yellows would be who?
Joey, for
the
sure.
Joey.
Joey's
Okay.
very yellow, right? Joey also would like probably like buy something on impulse because he's like, oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be exciting.
Totally. Okay. So it's like that entertainment factor. Somebody who does this really well, who I'm sure you know, and I've worked with, is Marisa Corcoran. And she writes great stories in her emails. And so I feel like she must, either she's a yellow or she just caters really well to yellows because they're always very entertaining and engaging. And anybody who is like somebody who gets sold with story will buy whatever Marisa's selling because her stories are always epically good. So
that's so good. So she probably is high yellow because also I know she's like very public facing and like talks to a lot of people and is always bringing people together. That's like a real yellow trait.
Yes.
One thing you got to know about yellows is they are often the people like, because remember they're like the late to the party people. They are also the people who will buy like 5 minutes before cart close. They'll also email you like the day after and be like, oh shit, I was like skiing. I didn't look at my email for 3 days. Like, can I buy this? Those are often the yellows.
Okay.
And so that is another reason why we keep emailing and you go even harder like on the second last and last day so that you can pick up those stragglers. Like the yellows need to be told like 8 times. I got this email from one of my students one time and she was like, classic yellow, showing up late to the party. And it was like I had been working her so hard throughout the whole launch. I was like, I know this person's going to be great for my mastermind. She should definitely join. Super social, very extroverted, fun person, a great match. I'd kind of given up. I was like, I guess she's not going to join. And then like probably in the last hour or so, she was like, okay, Tarzan, you win this round. Here I am. I'm finally in. I was like, of course. Okay. Of course she's coming in. She's yellow.
For everybody who is listening, one of the big takeaways there is not to feel scared of sending those like 3 emails on the last day. Like I hear so many people feeling like, oh, aren't we going to be like turning people off and really making people want to unsubscribe because we're too much in their inbox on that last day. But especially those yellows need those reminders.
Yeah. Okay. So I actually send 6 emails on cart close day and some they're segmented. So not my whole list doesn't get all 6 emails. Some people do, but there might be a couple extra emails for people who I know have visited the sales page. Mm-hmm. They're the hottest. The people who haven't actually clicked anything, like they're fine. Like send them 2 emails and be done with it. I also have a segment of people who I know are freelancers. So I'll do a special email. It's just for them. I send a lot of emails and you have to remember, like you send more emails, you're going to make more money. And also people are going to unsubscribe. That's part of being in a promotion. A lot more people unsubscribe. You just got to be cool with it.
Yeah. And know that they were never going to buy anyway. So why pay for them to be on your list?
Yes, exactly. Right? Precisely. Yeah. Okay. So next color is the blues. Okay. So the blues are super detail oriented. They want to have all the facts. The blues are like, a blue is the kind of person you really want to have as your business manager or your personal assistant or your virtual assistant, whatever. They're deep into the details. They want to know. They have so many questions. They will read your entire email, and like retain all the information. Like if you said you were going to deliver a bonus and you didn't deliver it on the date you said they would, they will email you and be like, Tarzan, you said on March 18th, I was going to get this bonus. Where is it?
Right.
They're great with details. They want to know them. They want like a higher level of surety before they will buy something. So a classic blue would be like Lisa Simpson or,
from the Friends, it's Ross, right?
Ross.
Yes.
Oh yes. Ross for sure. Yeah. So they want all the details. So for the blues, I would make sure you have like a FAQ email somewhere like in the mid to end part of your launch, or, you know, even when you're developing like any sort of product that you're selling, like the blues are why we have an FAQ on the sales page and like lots of details, like who is it for? Who is it not for? They want all those details. They want you to be really specific about like the dates that things come out and like how will it be delivered. Like it's not enough to say like, I'm going to give you this bonus that lets you do blah, blah, blah. Well, like, is it a spreadsheet? Is it a PDF? Like, is it a live masterclass? Like, what is it? They want to know all those things. So they will read your long ass emails and they will look for the details and they will really appreciate them. And you need those people, like you want those people in your program because they also tend to be really helpful
and tend to probably also be the ones that go through each piece of your program, implement it. Like they're probably actually the great students.
Yeah, they're great students. They are sometimes perfectionists that like need to do everything, whereas a red will like cut the corners just to get things out.
Right.
We like all of these personality types have so many wonderful qualities that will help them. And it's good to know where your strengths are so you can say like, okay, as a red, sometimes I do miss out on the details. Sometimes I try and move too fast and I just plow through things and like I miss, like there's missed opportunities because I'm just in constant motion. The yellows are just so fun. They're like such bright personalities. We all want more of them in our inboxes. And also at the same time, they may miss deadlines. They may like have struggled to like follow a system. So there's good things and bad things. And we all have a little bit of all of these personality traits. Of course. Yeah.
Okay. So the green.
So the greens are like the most emotionally motivated buyers. They tend to be like more nostalgic. They will nostalgic, like nationalistic, like they will respond to like the green in me, like always cries at parades, like any sort of parade. If you're like waving a flag and like showing pride in your culture, community, country, whatever it is, like I just melt.
Yeah, it's like I do that at my dad used to take me to hockey games and like the national anthem at the beginning of the hockey game. I'd be like fully teared up, or like the really cheesy Tim Hortons commercials as a kid. Like I would always cry at those.
Yeah. For sure.
My Canadian is really coming out right now. But
I was actually just about to say parades and the national anthem like gets me every time. And stories, like stories that are deep and true. Those stories are going to really resonate with the greens. So that's why we want to share the hard stuff, share the good stuff, share the deep stuff. Like you're not going to get the greens by just being fun and being super successful at life being like the stuff. So that's where we tell stories. If you have great case studies, those are really important, particularly in the middle of like a launch period. I love to see case studies, heartfelt stories. So
that really like under the hood, more vulnerable stuff.
Yeah. Right. So an example of, Phoebe from Friends, perfect example of a green. Like she really cares about causes. She's a very feeling person, very empathetic, very caring toward her friends, wants to help people. She'll get behind a cause. Like, that's very, very green trait.
Isn't it funny? Like when we look at media references like that or pop culture, obviously screenwriters and developers of these shows or movies or whatever it is obviously use these same things, right? When they're developing their characters.
Yeah, totally. Or they're using some other personality system that's similar but explains it differently.
I mean, to your point at the beginning of the episode, like whether you're thinking about this from like the enneagram or Myers Briggs or whatever it is, like it's all the same kind of idea. We might just classify them a little bit differently, but using that application in any kind of writing is it's super interesting. Okay, this has been so helpful. I want you to also, before we wrap up, you do something that not many other people do that I think everybody needs to hear, and it's your made you a video email that comes at the end of your launches. And I love this, and I want you to tell people what you do.
Thanks for mentioning that, because I was just planning out a promo sequence that's going out next week. And at the end, I was like, I better do the may do a video thing. So I love this tool called BombBomb. There's lots of different video tools. I just happen to love this particular tool because of the ease of using it in Gmail, and also the way like you make a video and it creates a GIF out of the first 3 seconds, which you can do so much fun stuff with. Also, I wrote a long blog about all the amazing things I do with BombBomb. Okay. One of the ways I use it at the end of a launch, and like if you think I'm sending 6 emails on cart close day, they have to look different. They have to feel different. It can't be another mile-long text-based email. Like hopefully every one of those emails has something really unique about it. And at the end, like let's say, like a couple hours before cart close, I always a very email and I do a video. And the video is usually different, but usually I'm addressing like one really key objection that I know people are really dealing with. That's like, I don't know, it could be anything, but if you're paying it, I actually often will make that video actually close to the end of the cart close period. Like I do prep in advance a lot, but I always leave gaps so that I can be like in touch with what's going on. So, I might have, if I've been in a launch for a week or something, by the end, like I know what the biggest question is. So I will probably make a video about that, and also just appeal to their, like what I know they're feeling, which is like, I'm scared. I'm uncertain. Is this going to work? What if I don't like it? What if I don't show up for myself? What if you don't show up for me? Like there is really basic underlying fears that cause people to not buy whatever the product is. So I will address those. Sometimes I'll do something different. One time, so last year, like my subscribers are used to me showing up in BombBomb videos. Last year, when I was promoting Amy Porterfield's program, Digital Course Academy, I asked her to make a BombBomb. I was like, can you make a BombBomb for my email list and tell them like why they are ideally suited? And she made this great video about how like she was excited they were thinking about Digital Course Academy. And she said, being in Tarzan's community, like you're ideally placed. I know you guys are going to be my best success stories and you're going to be my case studies.
Right.
It was like the ultimate thing. And it was really true, because the people who come through me, like they're not not just like trying to get into this world from zero, no idea what they're doing. Like my students are her best case studies. So that was a really great video. It was a really great pattern interrupt. Another way that I love to use BombBomb during a launch is just checking in with people. Like anyone who's hit reply and asked a question, I'll make them a video response. Just like be there for them, put my face in front of them so that they know like I'm a real person and I'm here to answer your questions if you want.
That's right. And it really humanizes the launch, right? Like showing up so personally like that in somebody's inbox with a video that feels like it's just, sometimes it may be just for them, or other times it's you making a video for a segment of the list, right? So but it feels really personal. So no, I love that tip. So everybody we'll link to that article that you wrote about BombBomb so people can go and read that and check out the software for themselves. The other amazing thing to do with BombBomb, if you do have your own online course or membership, is you can use it for welcoming new students into your community. Use it that way too.
Such a good idea.
Which is such a good way to use it. And that way you can just get their mindset in like the right place to really dive into those first like 7 days. If you're going to have any refund requests, it's always in those early days. And so if you can really like get people excited about the purchase they just made and welcome them that way, really useful tool. So this has been amazing. Where can people find out more about you, find those articles, and dive into all of your great stuff?
Okay, so my website is tarzankay.com, K-A-Y. And if you go to tarzankay.com/colors, you can use the American or the Canadian spelling. Tarzankay.com/colors, you'll find like a really extensive blog post with all of different colors, like examples of emails that work for the different colors, examples of fictional characters, real people who fit the mold. And you'll also find on that page a swipe file of a 10 email promo sequence that does speak to all the different colors.
Love that. Amazing. And you guys, when you are diving into that blog post, I want you to tag Tarzan and I on Instagram with what you're changing in your emails. Maybe like some big takeaways that you have from that article and this episode around what you're going to do differently. Maybe you don't have the PS at the bottom of your emails. Maybe you haven't been writing from like a story-based perspective. And we would love to hear from you about what it is that you're going to take away from this episode and try out in your business. Tarzan, what's your handle on Instagram so that everybody can go follow you?
So easy, Tarzan_K. And I do hang out on Instagram a lot. I'm proud of what I'm doing there too. And I am in my DMs. So you can connect with me there anytime.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Tarzan. It was such a pleasure.
Thanks, Gemma.